Shanti sister, how are you?
Shanti, brother, I'm good.
Fine.
And you?
Yeah, I'm very fine. So seeing you after 2 days. So we are back. We are going to discuss about a very important topic and very curious topic. Even if somebody is slightly interested in any form of spirituality or religion, they will definitely want to listen to what we are going to discuss today. And that is about life before birth and after death. So people speak about afterlife, even in Christianity and Islam, but they don't speak about what happened before birth, right? Is that not surprising? Even though they worry
Yes.
about what happens after death, they don't worry about what happens before birth, where we were. Has it ever occurred to you
Yes.
before taking
They
this
have
knowledge?
some assumptions. They have some assumptions
Assumptions like,
that they are created because they think they are body. They think they are created from some elements, and
okay,
that God just give them like life. And that's it.
okay. So,
Depends.
so they,
Some
mm,
religions say something about that, but it's not really like
yeah,
true.
yeah, because if we are going to exist after death, obviously we would have existed before birth as well, right? That sounds
Yes.
logical, even if you don't believe in God, even if you don't believe in uh, other religions that says about rebirth. But everybody believes in life after death, some form of life, which means there is something, whether they call it consciousness or anything. If they exist after death, obviously it should have existed before birth. Then the question arises, where did it reside? Where was it so far? And the main question is, here one actor recently said in an interview that there is one question about life that he has no answer for. He is an atheist. He did not actually make effort to find the answer. That's the uh, truth. So his question is, why am I born poor? Why am I not beautiful? Why am I unable to study like others? Someone is studying nicely, but I couldn't study. So he has these questions. Why is someone so successful? Why is someone born in America and not me? So these are his questions. And he says he has no answer to that because he clings on to that atheistic belief. So obviously he will have no answer if he thinks atheism is right. Right? So he has to get rid of that to find the answer. It's not difficult because being born in India, he has these questions, says how ignorant he is. Because everybody here knows about karma. Even layman knows
Many
about karma.
people think many people think that there are some questions that are not to be answered, but I don't agree with that.
Yes.
I think that there some questions are like kind of how to say, not just a wonder, but like it's a mystery.
Hmm.
You leave it as a mystery.
Yes. Uh,
So there are so many questions that souls think that there is no answer to them because they like to leave it to the mystery. They
mm,
say, "Oh, this question doesn't have an answer. It's a mystery." They want to live life as a mystery.
yeah, that's
But
true.
for the ones that really suffer or have some consequences, they really want to find the answers, how to get rid of the pain.
Yeah.
because without really deep answer, and the pain cannot go. So we really want to be free in life, to experience freedom in this life.
especially
But many people
yeah,
think
uh,
that actually doing some bad things is a freedom.
mm,
So the real freedom is actually the to know the truth about who we really are, and
really,
what
what we are
what
attached
is
to.
the best way to behave. Yes.
Uh,
So yeah.
actually, after Corona COVID-19 deaths, people started thinking about where my dear ones went after death. So it automatically dawns upon them. So I think after death of our beloved ones, obviously people will start searching for the answer. So till then, maybe the ego comes in the front seat. So that should be the answer. But what we are going to discuss is in India, people, there's a saying that we don't bring anything to this world, we are not going to take anything from this world when we die. So that's the common saying here. Is that the case there too?
Depends. I
Then
think most of the people think like that we
things like
don't
that.
gonna bring
Yeah,
anything, uh,
yeah,
especially material things.
yes.
Mhm.
And
So it's more like
yeah.
you should do good because nothing material you not gonna bring with you when you die.
So yeah, the main idea behind saying this is we should not be greedy. So what's the reason? What's the point in accumulating things that we are not going to take with us after death? So that's the point.
Yeah.
But still, people are very greedy, especially politicians here. They are very greedy, and they know they heard about this, but still, it doesn't make any change in their mindset. So although it thinks, it feels that that point would change somebody's mind, but in reality, it doesn't. You know what?
Uh,
Yeah, go on.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's
Hmm,
I think it's all very connected to the information that people are getting now, because
hmm,
everything is connected to some marketing, to some business, and then you think the
hmm,
more you have, the more you eat, the more you get, then you are more happy. But
hmm,
actually, that is not the real happiness. But
yeah,
there is so many informations around us that feed us with the wrong idea of happiness and the wrong idea of the truth.
but-
So
and also, this same point might instill greediness in them because they believe that they don't bring anything and they believe they are not going to take away anything. So why not enjoy everything in this life? So they want to accumulate as much as possible because they,
there are some
yeah,
that really live humble. There are
mm,
some people that really realize that not gonna give them happiness, so they
mm,
don't want to have too much material things, and they really
yeah,
live humble.
yeah,
But it all depends of the soul
mm.
and how the soul understands life.
And also in a recent Murli, our God Shiva says that the more relations you have, the more trouble you have to face. The same applies to the wealth as well, especially in this time period. If you have more wealth, more relationships, it's going to create more and more problem here. Here in India, especially in the place I live in, uh, daily, on daily basis, we hear the news that somebody's servant is killing his master because of money or gold. It's a daily news here. And one uh, servant, a maid, she was stealing from her master, continuously stealing gold from her master, that she constructed a big building for her own out of the things she stole from her master. So people are so greedy nowadays. So obviously people will steal only from those who have plenty. So the very fact that you accumulate more is going to invite these miscreants into your life. Also, it happens within relatives. Um, Sons and daughters, they kill their own parents for property. They kill their siblings. So it's a daily news here. Such things doesn't happen there. That,
Mm,
mm.
I don't think so that it's in that big amount that things happen. There can be fights, but I don't know about killing. I
Oh,
know about fighting sometimes about for
yeah.
the property. Killing not so much
Yeah,
about
because Indian
family reasons.
culture is different because here uh, we stay with our parents forever, but that's not the case in Western countries, right? Soon after becoming 18, most of them leave their homes. So that's the case, right? Is that the case in your
Yeah,
place as well?
mostly, not everyone, not everyone.
Yeah,
Here also some live with their parents. Depends. Many
yeah,
different types of people.
yeah. So here, since they live with their parents, uh, so obviously siblings have this fear of whether his father will write his will in favor of the other. So they kill him beforehand, and they even kill their sibling. So it happens. So maybe that's the reason God says India was heaven, and it is going to be the deepest hell pretty soon. So it's already happening everywhere. Uh, 2 days back, uh, in our state, death occurred due to consuming poisonous hooch. You know what hooch is, right? Liquor. It's a liquor, but it's illicit trade. They don't do it legally, so instead of ethanol, they mix methanol, which is poisonous. So the whole village, almost all men of that village died due to consuming that. So we are seeing hell right before our eyes. But at the same point, it is essential to know what happens after death. If they know it beforehand, they wouldn't do such trivial things and waste their life.
Yes,
Yeah, as you
agree
said,
with you.
yeah, as you said, it is because of body consciousness that
Because
people.
people want to punish people. People want to punish people, and they want justice now on Earth, and it's not gonna happen here, and it's
Yeah,
not gonna happen on the way they think it should happen, and they become angry when things are in their eyes are not
mm,
like just like doesn't seem like justice. So they do so many things because they don't have knowledge of what happened after that and the real,
yeah,
can I say, karma, consequences of their
mm, yes,
behavior.
that's the thing. And people here, everybody speaks about karma, but they don't take it seriously. So Sometimes if somebody is born to a rich person, they say it's because of his karma that he was born there. So only at that point they think of karma, but they don't think about it when they commit sinful acts. So that's the reason it is essential for everybody to know about life after death and life before birth. It's not as most of us believe that we don't bring anything while taking birth. We do bring uh, savings of in our karmic account. There is savings. It is because of that
Accumulation.
yeah, it's accumulated. So it is because of that one is born to a poor family and another is born to a rich family. It all depends on the amount of savings in his karmic account. If it is less, he'll be born in a poor family. If it is accumulated with sins, then maybe he will be born to a beggar or a prostitute, or he'll be handicapped. So he will have to go through all such punishments because of what he did in his past birth. So he has to answer for his actions, even if he leaves his body, even if he commits suicide, he can't escape. So our birth is determined by our past karma. So is our present karma that's going to determine our next birth. So this is something people need to realize, because God says uh, you are holding on to shells which is worthy of nothing, but I am ready to fill your hands with diamonds, but you are not ready to let go of the shells. You are holding to it so tightly. So that's the reason God comes. And usually it happens that after uh, death, we usually take birth in a way that we are in some way or the other going to be at an inferior level compared to the previous birth. That's why we descend down the ladder, as God says. So health wise, beauty wise, money wise, so relationship wise, so in all aspects, we are not going to enjoy the benefits that we enjoyed in our previous birth. So we are going to lose birth after birth, because it's like if you have $1 million in your account, then you decide to go around the world tour. So obviously you have to spend. So after a month or so, the money is going to decrease, right? So is our soul, because God fills our soul with everything we need for 5,000 years. So that's this 5,000 year time cycle. So this is where we first take birth. When we first take birth, our soul has this saving that is going to last for the next 5,000 years if we take birth initially. But if we take birth in the middle, then we will have uh, the savings that's required to complete this cycle. So this happens during the last 100 years of Kalpa. So that's when God Himself comes from His supreme abode, which is a golden red colored light world, which is called, what do they call?
Paramdam.
Yeah, we call it Parandam, but in
Some sort.
Bible and Quran, what do they call this?
I know in Buddhism they call it like world of nirvana.
Nirvana. Yeah,
Uh,
nirvana. That's true. So that's
but there
where.
is another words in Quran, but I cannot remember.
Okay. So that's where we reside along with God. But that's not heaven. Because Christians and Muslims misconsider the place of God to be heaven. But that's not so. We reside with God as a soul without body. We cannot experience sorrow or happiness without this body. We need this body to experience either happiness or sorrow. So, there we would have absolutely no consciousness. It's like a coma stage for the soul will be there. So, from there, we initially take birth in heaven that lasts for 2500 years. Then the same world becomes hell because we start committing sins. While we were in heaven, we have no idea what sin is. We do not know what lust is. We do not know what anger, greed, attachment, or ego is because we were fully soul conscious. We know that we are the soul that shines like a tiny star in between the eyebrows. So we interact with each other as souls. We we will not be attracted to the physical form, to anything external to us. So we will constantly be conscious that we are souls. We are souls that sees. We are souls that hears. We are souls that speak. So we will constantly be soul conscious. So we have two benefits because of that. First, since our concentration, our the majority of our concentration is in the soul, we will not be attracted to anything, although it is heaven. We know it's beautiful, but we will not cling on to anything like we do now. We will not have attachment to anything or anybody. So, because that's the root cause for all the suffering, for all the sins. So that's the seed for all sins, the attachment to the physical things or human beings. So that's the seed. So we
And the
don't.
reason is
Mm,
why soul is feeling depleted. Battery in the soul is depleted, so there is no power. So it's
yeah,
searching outside for the
that's true.
things that gonna satisfy the
Yeah,
soul. And it become greedy, it become attached because it thinks, oh, this bring me happiness, this make me happy, but that is not real
yeah,
happiness and not
that's
real
true.
peace.
That's true.
So that is the reason. So
Mm,
the soul first need to know how to fulfill herself inside,
yeah.
so she
So,
doesn't have all of this.
yes. When it is filled with power, it is content and happy within. It doesn't need anything external to make it happy. And it's not going to derive happiness forever from external things or beings. So while in heaven, they were so happy all the time because the true nature of the soul itself is blissfulness and peacefulness. So they don't seek that out. So that's the reason it was heaven for the first 2500 years. So not only we will be happy, but also everything and everybody and every living being around us will stay happy. So that's the reason in all religions it is mentioned that lion and goat take water from the same pond together. They don't even have the thought of killing each other for food because all animals depend on plants for food and they don't kill each other. So that was heaven. That's how it initially was. This world initially was. The same world which was heaven becomes hell because we no longer remain in soul consciousness. We slowly become body consciousness because, as you said, the soul gradually loses its power. So that's when uh, the concentration power is not enough to concentrate on the soul anymore. So it gets disturbed by uh, things around him or her. So that's when they become addicted to sensual pleasures, and thereby they get addicted to the five vices: lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. So obviously, whatever thoughts they create under the influence of these five vices are going to be sinful. So once they start having these thoughts continuously, obviously they will put that into action. So they will end up committing sinful acts, and obviously, after a certain point, they will have to reap what they sow. So they will be getting the punishment for that. And that is the main reason why we are suffering in terms of poverty, natural disasters, relationship issues, war between nations. So the root cause of everything is our bad karma. So we are bringing that with us while we take birth. So initially we bring only charity with us. That's why we enjoy it for the first 2500 years. Then once we start committing sins by becoming addicted to sensual pleasures, that's when we start accumulating sins. So we are carrying that sin forward from birth to birth, and it gets accumulated over and over compared to the previous birth. It gets increased, and we don't know how to get rid of it. No human or no religion created by humans have the solution for that. They don't even know that we are carrying sin while we are born. Although there is a mention about that in Bible that we are sinners from birth, but they didn't explain it clearly. If we are sinners at birth, obviously we would have committed sin before that, right? But people don't think about it. They say we are born as sinners, but they think it is because Adam and Eve committed sin, we are sinners. How could it be logical? Right? If they committed sin, they are the sinners. How come we will be sinners?
Yeah, but it's also connected to cooperate because the Adam and Eve, they represent the first man and woman that comes in the golden age. So
Yeah.
they do really like the first one that falls down, and everyone else is like going with them.
Mm.
So there is a symbolic behind
Yeah, that's
that
true.
it can
That's true.
happen.
Once they fall, everybody is falling. But they didn't mention that. Yes, it
It means that
implies
they
that.
are
Yeah.
old souls, but
Mm.
that is not mentioned that they are old souls and then they were already there on earth.
Yeah. And
It's
they didn't.
mentioned that they were in heaven, but they were really in heaven because there was heaven on earth and they were
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
When the time came for them to fall down, when they first want to commit sin, then everyone else is falling together with them.
Yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth. Everybody is falling, and they are punished for their sin, not for the sin their forefathers or their fathers committed. Because people think it is we are bearing the sin of our forefathers, which is not true. Because even in Bible it is mentioned everybody has to carry his own cross. Nobody can take your cross, which means you have to carry your burden. You have to suffer your sin. So it is there, but nobody is explaining that. That's the bad part. So
That's
one,
why people they
mm,
start having like so many negative emotions because they want to fulfill themselves with other people that are also sinners,
mm,
and so they need the one who really can help them in the situation when they feel that they need the support, but the real support, like the God. He is the real support, Shiva. He is the only support that can help the soul. And
Yes.
when we think about other gonna save us, we have yoga with them, we have connection with them, and then all our energy go to other people, and still there is no perfection, still the battery on the soul is not going up. But if we have the connection with God, then the battery of the soul can really fulfill. So we really need to know who the God is really is. We really need to know that he is the first, he is the seed of all human tree,
Yes.
and that he is the creator, and also the only one who is like altruistic right now, the only one who is not doing good to receive something good. He is doing it because it is his nature, and he never lose his natural original sanskaras. But the souls, we that we play the role, we lose our strength, we lose our original sanskaras, and we go into depth of the sin. So we need God, the only one who stays stable in this drama. And he is very detached, and the other ones are not detached. So that's why we need so much detachment right now. We really need to get that from God, because we really went through many lives, and we were fulfilling ourselves with so many relationships, but now the only relationship we need is with him. So it's like to see him as our friend, as our mother, father, also our lover. So that's what we need now. And to realize that he is not like omnipresent and he is not everywhere, but he is the one that we need to connect to. He have the place where he is living. So it doesn't mean that he is everywhere, because he cannot be omnipresent on the earth, because if he is on the earth, it will be better situation, and everything will be better.
Yeah,
So
we should
he cannot
actually,
be there.
we should actually
So
be.
yes, we really need to know who he is, and he is just a point of light, and
Mm,
but so huge in his consciousness, ocean of love, ocean of purity, ocean of everything good.
yeah, we have to take every point and do a separate video on it. How God is not omnipresent.
So connected, yes.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
very
thing.
connected. All of that is
Yeah,
very
everything
connected.
is connected. Uh, oh, what happened? Okay,
No, just
okay. You
I
can,
hope it's not.
uh, yes, sister. And in addition, uh, yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is so far the soul is losing its power gradually. So it is descending gradually, and that's why now we got rid of everything God blessed us with in the beginning in terms of health, wealth, relationship, everything. Even nature is against us now. But in heaven, it was totally under our control. Whatever thing, whatever we think, it happens in that very instant. So the five elements will be under full control of us. But now it's not the case. Even this five element with which the body is made up of is not under our control. It's creating problems constantly. So that's not the case with heaven. The residents of heaven, called deities, they don't even know what headache is. So they don't know what fever is. Uh, they have no idea about any health problem. They were perfectly healthy till their death, and their lifespan on average is 150 years. But still, they would look young. Even at their 150, at the time of their leaving the body, they would look young. They would not have gray hair like this. They wouldn't grow bald. So such would be heaven. But compared to that, I heard in Bible it is mentioned during the end times people will be born as old people. Now we have no idea how deities look like when they are old. Only when we know that we can compare and say yes, we are born old compared to the deities, right? So they will look so young even at 150 years. So that was how, because we were filled with powers. We were so pure. Actually, it's the power of purity. So that's why we were so rich, so beautiful, so brilliant in the beginning. And we start losing them gradually because we are losing the power of purity. So finally, towards the end of the 5,000 years time cycle called Kalpa, we almost lose everything because we lose the power of purity fully. Now we have reached the stage as described by Jesus Christ that if you see a girl lustfully, you have already committed prostitution with her. So that's the case now, not back then when Jesus Christ was alive.
I have a
Mm,
when you say about health and in the golden age there is no like problems. We don't need pills for the health.
mm,
There is one way I like to describe why now is different time than the other times.
mm,
Uh, how to really describe it.
mm,
You know, there was some illness and people were dying from those illnesses. For
mm.
example, illness of high sugar or something. I know there were some illnesses and many children was dying.
Yeah.
And there came two souls and they invented the cure for those illnesses.
Mm,
And nobody died anymore from those illness. And before that, it was like dying illness. And same with this. There is so many illness of body consciousness in the world,
yes.
and it became natural, like everybody is suffering from that. But
Yes.
there is a time in a cycle when God comes and he is the one who had the cure for those illnesses.
Yes.
The same with the illnesses in a time. So it means that the time will come and that's why we need to be open that something different is coming, that times are changing. What seems like normal, like okay, this is like I cannot help with this, everything is happening to everyone, this is normal, and it became like normal, but people don't feel like natural, and there is now the cure for that illness, and that is like to connect with the God. So and to learn some knowledge that's really gonna connect you to the soul. So it means it's no longer the illness that is not curable,
Yeah.
because this is the time in cycle when the cure came.
Yes.
So it's upon to us, are we gonna take the cure or how we gonna consume it?
And
That's the
this,
way I like to think.
yeah. And the illness you said refers to those subtle illnesses. It's not visible, it's subtle.
Yes.
Whether it's lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, it is already there. We just need some trigger to come out. It is there, even if there is no trigger. And God says that you need to make effort that there is no trace of it left. And the effort is just to connect our mind with God, who is shining like a tiny star in the golden red colored light world. So the more we spend our time in remembrance of God Shiva as our beloved Father, we will become as pure as Him. The reason He is considered ever pure by all religions is because although He is a soul just like us physically, but He doesn't enter this birth and death cycle. If He enters this birth and death cycle, even He would lose the power. If He lose the power like us, then who is there to save us? And that is why God doesn't enter this birth and death cycle, which is the true sacrifice, right? This is the true sacrifice. If He comes, then who is there to save my children? So He gives us everything, He blesses us with everything, but He doesn't even enter heaven. Because if He enters heaven, He has to enter this rebirth cycle. So He doesn't take rebirth. The only time He comes is He enters an human being, an old man body directly, just to give this knowledge, not to enjoy any worldly pleasures. He doesn't even want to see what's happening in this world. And the reason for that is He says, I didn't even come to see how you enjoyed the heaven. Now, what is there to see in hell? So that's why He doesn't even want to see anybody except us. And the reason is we recognize God and we go there lovingly to see Him in Madhuban, Rajasthan, India. So He comes there. And so far, we've been losing what we initially carried in our karmic account. We had only 100% charity in the beginning. Then the amount of charity decreases, then the amount of sins increases, and towards the end, we have nothing but sins on our head. So we need to get rid of them. How do we do that? For that, we need to know how it actually enters us. God says it is because you wrongly considered yourselves to be this perishable body, you become addicted to sensual pleasures, thereby these five vices. So the first step you need to do to get rid of those sins is to consider yourself to be this imperishable soul that shines like a tiny star in between the eyebrows, which is why Indian Hindus have this habit of applying tilak in between the eyebrows. But even they do not know that they reside there. Only God says to us, and we are saying to the whole world, if they are lucky, they will accept it. If they don't accept it, it means they are losing their fortune. What can God do? What can we do? It's our duty to convey this message to everybody, to our fellow brothers and sisters, that now we have reached the end of this time cycle and we got nothing in our soul in terms of charity. But we are fully covered with these vicious thoughts. So we need to get rid of it. The more we remember God, who is ever pure, we also become pure based on the amount of effort we put in remembering God as a point of light. In addition, we need to listen to the teachings of God daily, which is called Murli, which is available in all Brahmakumaris Rajog meditation centers across the globe. And now, even if you have no center in your area or country, you can't blame because it's a digital age we are living in. So everything is available for free in internet. Even in Brahmakumari Center, it is absolutely free because it is given by God, not by any human, any spiritual guru who make a big business out of it. God doesn't do that because He is our Father, and He says, you have nothing to lose. You have lost everything. Whatever you hold on to, even that is going to give you pain. So just let go of everything you hold on to, be it relationship, be it wealth, or anything you identify yourself with. Just let go of it. Now you have to have only one identity. You are a soul, son of the Supreme Soul. That's it. He is the only relationship with you now. You can have all relationship with him. You can consider him to be your brother, mother, father, sister, lover, husband, wife, kid, grandkid, nephew, cousin, whatever relationship you want, friend, and he will fulfill all the responsibility of those relationships, and he will not give you pain as you experience when you have relationship with humans. He is not going to cheat on you. He is not going to expect anything from you because he doesn't have a body. You don't have to look after him. But on the other hand, he says, I'm here to look after you 24 bar 7 till you leave this body. He has come to take us back with him to our sweet home, Parandam. And before going there, we need to fill our soul with the charity by doing very good karma. And God says, whatever karma you do while in soul conscious stage, that will be considered as charitable action. And you can also teach others this karma and introduction about God, so that will accumulate more into your account. So that is going to decide the status that you are going to claim in heaven, because that's the kingdom where a king and queen rules over the whole world, and you can become the king or queen based on your effort. If you put 100% effort in becoming soul conscious and in getting rid of body consciousness, and if you are able to see each other as soul very naturally, then you can become Sri Narayan, who is the first king of heaven. So if you are able to take birth in the beginning of heaven, it means you have accumulated in your soul the subtle wealth that is needed to live throughout this cycle. So that's the huge amount of wealth. So now you can now is the only time for you to accumulate everything. God says, always remember this slogan: now or never. If you don't pay attention now, you are never going to get anything forever, because whatever happens in one kalpa, the same thing is going to repeat accurately kalpa after kalpa. To explain this very easily, if you are watching this video on this particular day, you are going to watch the same video on this particular day, kalpa after kalpa. And you must have watched it in the previous kalpa also. How amazing it is. But you have to pay attention, you have to be very careful not to lose any more time, not to waste any more time, because this is the time to save as much as possible to create a good future in heaven. Of course, it's heaven, it's going to be happy, but still there's a difference between the status of a servant and the status of a king. There's going to be a big difference. King is always king. When you are offered the choice to become a king, why not take that? So this is the only chance God Himself offers you. It's not human who is giving this knowledge. So whatever God says, it will always be true. You can rely on Him. You can make effort for Him. You can sacrifice anything for Him. And the profit is yours. The whole world is going to be yours. Not this old world that is filled with diseases and all types of sorrows, but a sin-free, sorrow-free world where there is nothing but happiness. Whatever you see, it's happiness. Whatever you listen, it's going to give you happiness. Just think about that world. So once you have this knowledge deeply instilled in you, you will not be careless anymore because you have to leave this body filling yourself with all the spiritual wealth as much as possible, because God is the ocean of knowledge, ocean of all treasures. If we are our sons and daughters, why not fill ourselves with all the treasures? Because we have the right to our Father's inheritance. Why are you not paying attention? But God is not going to give it as such. You have to make effort, because that's the kingdom where the status is number wise. So the highest status one can claim is becoming Sri Narayan. So you have to become that. So
And
yes,
during becoming that, we have to tolerate a lot.
yes,
That's very important.
yeah. But compared to what we are going to acquire, what we have to tolerate is nothing. Be it a disease, be it a narcissistic
It means we have to
partner.
be detached a lot.
Yeah, we have to feel detached and we have to attach ourselves as tightly as possible to God. Then it's a blissful journey. We will not even say, once you get rid of body consciousness, nothing is going to hurt us. Once we detach ourselves fully to this world, we are attaching ourselves to this imperishable God who is going to be with us all the time. No human can offer to be with us all the time, be it your father or life partner. It's totally impossible for them. But He is going to take care of us. He has promised. So, with that in mind, hold only on to God, and everything else is going to cheat you at the right time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, then why should we be deceived? God has come to
See,
make us
that's why
brilliant, not
we
to be
are
deceived.
orphans now, so
Yeah,
we need a real father.
yeah,
We need a
we
real
have been
care.
orphans for the past 2500 years while it was heaven, hell. So now
Yeah.
God Himself has come and He's
We were
offering.
crying and we were calling him
Yes,
through many words. We were
for
calling him like,
yeah,
"Come, save us."
save
So
us.
there's so many sadness and
Yeah,
once there I made a list of all the things because it was in Murli, made a list of all the things that make you sad in this world and that really make sadness in this world. And the list is like so many things
yeah, that's,
make people sad and make us sad.
mm,
So we are orphans. We need the real father. We need to come back to the real self.
that's true.
We want to be adopted and want to be
Yeah,
good children.
yeah, that's true. God Himself has come and He has offered us to be our Father, to be our husband. So what else do we need? And He is going to make us the Emperor and the Empress of heaven, where there is no trace of any kind of sorrow. So just get it out of your mind that we are not going to take anything once we leave this body. That's not true. It depends on your karma, how much you are going to carry forward. If you are careless, then obviously you will be carrying very less. But you will definitely carry because God will punish you and make you pure to some extent, only then you will be able to reach his world. So we have two options. One, by remembering God happily, we accumulate everything happily and we enter the land of happiness from the beginning. And the other option is just be dumb to whatever we listen to. We carry out all the sinful acts as these worldly people are doing. Then, towards the end, we have to suffer the consequences. We'll be punished a great deal. God says, you can't even imagine the kind of punishment you are going to go through. We are seeing already there in Palestine, Ukraine, the kind of suffering people are going through. People are actually feeding on grass. They don't have anything to eat. So that's going to happen everywhere pretty soon. But God says, if you are following my path, then I guarantee that you will not die of hunger. You will be provided with enough food to survive. God promises this, and also He takes us away from here to a land that is abundant in everything. So we have to constantly work for our future, the life after this life, because what we have now is nothing but pain and sorrow. Then why still cling on to those relationships and to this body that is also causing pain and sorrow? So that's why God says, get rid of this body at a mental level. He doesn't ask you to die, but He asks you to die at a mental level. Just consider yourself to be a soul without a body. Also see each other in your house, your family members as a soul. But especially when it comes to kids, it's very difficult to see them as souls, but still you have to work on it, or else you will be deceived at the end. You will not be willing to leave this body, or you will be suffering a lot when they leave their body, because either of this will definitely happen. So that's why God says, always have the aim of accumulating as much as possible from God. After all, He is our Father. After all, it is our own inheritance. Then why be careless and lose everything? That's it. Thank you. Om Shanti. Thank you
Thank
all for
you.
listening.
Om Shanti.
Thank you, sister, for joining with us. Om Shanti.